Hi there, so today I'd like to show you how to use this Astro-Med DASH 18X data logger. It can record up to 18 channels at 100,000 hertz. So it's a pretty neat piece of test equipment. It goes beyond a oscilloscope if you have a lot of data to collect. It comes in handy for doing special tests. And this uses a Windows XP operating system, and I'm going to go through it with you a little bit more. So this side shows you where it's connected, and it has 18 channels, and it's all differential type inputs, so you connect them here, and it has a USB interface. So it only had one USB output, so I have a USB hub here where I have a memory stick, and I have two other USB interfaces. One's for the mouse and one's for the keyboard. So this view shows the mouse and the keyboard. So you can see how that's connected through USB. So this shows the other side of the Astro-Med, and this is the power switch over here. It has a CD, a DVD, which I don't use. I use more the USB memory stick instead, but I hear you can write to the DVD also. So it has an awful lot of flexibility for collecting data if you need a good data logger. So I have a waveform generator here with only has two outputs. Even though this data logger can read up to 18 channels, I'm only using two right now. So I'm going to power it up soon and show you the power up sequence. So I'm going to go and power it up by hitting the power switch. So it is powering up now, and the screen shows some ugly things, but I believe it still functions okay. There's not that many of these around, I believe. They're kind of rare, and I'm trying to keep this one going. I know it's sensitive to the Windows XP operating system getting corrupted, so you have to be very careful on how you shut it down. You want to do a nice, good shutdown on it to avoid messing up the Windows XP operating system on this. That's how these things get damaged and can never be used again once that happens. But anyway, I wanted to go through the startup sequence with you so you could see how that starts up. And you can see it says Windows XP embedded. So it's from 1985 to 2001. I don't know if you could still get these. I think they have some, Astro-Med has some more advanced data loggers out there that are real expensive, but I got this one real cheap off of eBay. I guess people don't want these anymore, and if you can find one that's working, it's good to get if you need to go beyond what you could get on a oscilloscope. So now, yeah, the Windows XP starting up, and that's going now, so you can see that start up. And it has a lot of flexibility. I believe it might have been made for the medical industry. In the old days we had real paper strip chart recorders, so this kind of emulates the old paper chart recorders that we used to have. And it's nice that it could store the data and you could go back and look at it and mark it. And it has a lot of flexibility, a lot of interesting things you could do that you might not be able to do on a oscilloscope if you're going to record data for longer periods of time. It's kind of like a whole lab in a system. So the Dash 18 software is coming up, and so now you can see I have I'm only using two channels right now. So I have channel 1 is a sine wave and channel 2 is a square wave. But I'm going to go on the waveform generator and change it a little bit. Let's see, I'm going to change our channel 2 a little bit. So we have let's see what we could get square. There's another type of waveform. This waveform generator has a lot of flexibility. That's just DC. So this is a triangle wave. You can see it. This is called it's a ramp here, and we have a negative ramp, a triangle wave. They call it stair triangle, stair step, negative stair. So I'm just showing you some of the things this waveform generator has on channel 2. I'm just varying the waveforms here. Try to find one that is kind of neat. So this is just the defaults of this waveform generator. So I have them set for 10 hertz. That's a kind of neat one. It's called multi-tone. So we'll keep it on that for now. So some of the things you could do, you could have a slower chart speed. So that's 5 millimeters a second, and this is 100 millimeters a second. So this waveform is running at 10 hertz, and there's other things you could do. You could go in and if you go over here, you could go on the waveform. This is waveform 1, and you could set the span here. So I have it set for 10 right now, but you could change the ranges. So it has a lot of nice flexibility. This is the center, so you could change that, and it looks like you could set alarms and all kinds of things. So this thing, if we go back and just look at I guess we'll hit cancel there, and it could view, this is the 18 channel view, so you can see up to 18 channels on it. So this view right now is just the basic 6 channel view, and I believe you could go in and try to get, I only have 2 channels, and I'll try to see if I could set that up to just to get the 2 channels showing. So to do that, I believe you just go in and you push on these, and you could say like remove. We're going to remove this one, remove that one, remove that one, and remove that one, and let's see if we can change the size. Let's see, not exactly too sure how to do that, but let's see, size grid. Oh, okay, so maybe yeah, you can let's see, so this has a touch screen in it, and not too sure what this does here, but anyway, we have the 2 channels on there now. Anyway, we still have the basic 2 waveforms on there, so I believe what you could do is you could remove these if I want to get just the 2 waveforms on, and I want to, I believe, a 2 division grid, and then select waveform 1, and let's see, so anyway, there's the sine wave for waveform 1, and let's see, I guess you could size the grid and make it a little let's see, smaller here. Let's see what happens there. Okay, so you could make it, you could change the size there, and I wonder what a 1 division grid is. Okay, let's see, add grid, 1 division grid, add grid, 1 division grid. Let's try waveform 2. Okay, so there you go. So we do have them bigger on there now, and let's see, can I move it? If I want to move this one, let's say I want to okay, so I can move that one there. Okay, I believe it's the other one is behind there. So let's see, if I go move and I can move it there. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll go back and look at the basic view here, being I'm not that experienced with it. The basic, that's the basic view for 6 channels, so you could see our waveforms there. So that's kind of neat. So the next thing we want to do is a lot of times you just want to store the data, so we'll do that next. So it does have a lot of flexibility in looking at the grids and how you might want to set this up. So I'm going to capture the data. I'm only going to capture for 1 second because it's sampling at 100,000 hertz. So that would give me 100,000 points. So the way you capture the data is you hit this capture and then hit capture settings. So I'm only going to capture the data for 2 seconds. I'm only going to do waveform 1 and 2 rather than all 16 of the waveforms. So that looks okay there. So that looks good. I'm going to capture 1 second at 100,000 hertz. So I'm going to hit OK there. So then I hit capture arm, and then it did it. It captured the data, the 1 second of data. So now we're going to take a look at the data, and the way we could do that is you hit Configuration, Review. So this has a touch screen. So these are all the files that I had previously saved, and we're going to look at the topmost one would be our most recent one, which I believe is right here. So we're going to select that one and hit OK. So that's the 1 second of data that we collected, and we could kind of scroll through it. So it was 10 hertz, so it should be like 10 cycles of data that we could go back. So here's like a faster scroll. So the neat thing you could do with this is also we want to get the data on our memory stick, so we can use Excel to look at the data or look at it offline without having to deal with this Astro-Med plotter, Astro-Med recorder. So one way we could get the data is we would push File, and we want to archive the data. So we will say like entire file. So this will save it. So we're going to save this captured data and hit OK. So yes, OK. So it saved the data. Another thing you could do, it puts this in a DCR format, which is like a press format. You could also archive it as ASCII, but that could take a long time. Maybe not for a second, but that could take a long time. So the DCR file is a way to go. It's much more compressed, so it's better to do it in that way. So now I want to get the data on the memory stick. So the way I would do that is I want to bail out of this. So I want to go to Configuration and then Utilities. So I just want to go to the operating system. So I hit OS. So the password of this one is -18. So I have to type -18 DASH18 and hit enter. So now I'm into the operating system. So using old Windows XP file manager, I think I get it by hitting Control E. I want to get to the directory where that data is. So the data is on the C drive, and you go under D18, and it's data capture files. Okay, so I just want to sort this by date here. Let's see. Trying to find this. Okay, I want to do this again because I don't believe it made the DCR file. So I'm going to go back to Review and push the file there. So there's the data again. So now I want to go hit File, Archive File, Entire File, and that's the name of it there, so I'm going to hit OK. So I believe it saved it now. I think I had some issue before. So now I'm going to go back to the operating system. So this plotter is somewhat intuitive in the way you operate it. So let's see if we can find that data. Oops, didn't want to do that. Okay, so now I want to find the file, so I'm going to hit the Control E here, well, the little flag E. So we're going to look at, okay, here's our mouse cursor. So we're going to get to the right directory under this D18, so it's data capture files. So here's the data up here. It's over here. So I want to take that and I want to copy it to the memory stick. So I'm going to do another flag E. And here's our memory stick here. So now I'm going to take the data and grab it here and then just move it over to the memory stick. So now it's going to copy over the memory stick. Takes a little time, but it looks like it made it. Okay, now that I got the data, I want to do a nice shutdown to this because I don't want to corrupt anything. So being I'm in the operating system now, I'm just going to hit turn off computer and say turn off. So Windows XP is now shutting down. So now I'm going to turn off the power. So now that I have the power off, I'm going to remove the memory stick. So I'm going to get over here and take out the memory stick. So now I'm going to put the memory stick into another computer that I have that I can post-process this data. So now that I put the USB stick in, I'm going to open it. And the files that I just generated are in this directory over here. So I'm going to copy that over. I have a special Astro-Med directory I made. And I'm going to copy that over so I don't have to worry about the memory stick anymore. And I'm hoping that that did copy over. So this is the compressed data. So that's 1 second of data, which is about 406 kilobytes. So this is Windows 7, and I have this program called Astro-Vuex that I was able to find in the public domain that works with the Astro-Med. So I believe it only runs on Windows 7. If you have a Windows 10, maybe you can use VirtualBox also with this. But I'm going to be using Windows 7 with this. So I'm going to open up Astro-Vuex. So one of the things I could do is convert the data to an Excel CSV file. So the first thing I want to do, I just want to browse for my my output directory, which should be under my documents, Astro-Med, and it's that directory. So I want to add the file, and the file is over here, this DCR file. So I could convert it to ASCII, but it takes on some of the bigger files, it takes a long time. So I hit this, and I just hit I want everything here. So I just hit convert, and I'll say OK. So converted it. So now I could go in here and it made a CSV file. So on this computer I have LibreOffice Calc, which is similar to Excel. It'll read CSV files. It's the public domain free version, freeware version of it. So I'll open that up, and I'm just going to go with the default values here. So this is my my data. So this is Waveform 1, which was a sine wave, and Waveform 2 was this other weird, it was called, the waveform generator, it was called multitone. Okay, so we're going to, just to plot that out now, we have 100,000 points here, so I'm going to go all the way to the bottom here, and got to come up a little bit and select this, and then go all the way to the top, and we're going to insert a chart here, just to plot out this data. So I like using the scatter here. So see what happens here if I hit next. So it's a lot of points. It's 100,000 points for Excel. If you, yeah, I'm just going to hit finish here. sometimes it's better if you have MATLAB or something like that to look at this data if it gets any bigger, if it gets big. So I'm going to stretch that out. So you can kind of see these waveforms on here. See if I can stretch that out, make this a little bigger, but it's able to move it over a bit. And yeah, it's kind of neat. You could see the sine wave and you could see this other waveform that's in there. But I have the data I can work on in Excel or this LibreOffice. I can work on the data now that I collected. So that's one way of doing it. So a good way, the thing to do here now is to save it. Save it rather than the CSV. We could use this more compressed, this ODS format. So I'll hit save there, and it saved the data, and I can work on this. So I have this interesting waveform here, and it is taking some time. They're bigger files, just for 1 second. So if you collected, maybe a minute of data, that it gets hard to work with. So you need a fast computer to process this data. So we're going to close that, and you can see the file size. The ODS is like 3.8 megs. So another thing you could do with this Astro view, you could actually open the file, and that's the DCR file, and it'll actually plot it out. Like we'll look at this over here shows all the data, so you could see the sine wave and this other multi-tone data. So you could also, another way you could save the data, if you just wanted to select a certain part, you could actually go in here and select a certain part of it. If it was a lot of data and you just wanted to get a little window, you could do that. But I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to say save screen. So that's I believe that's the whole screen there. So we're also going to make an Excel spreadsheet here, and I want original. In that way it'll give me every point. So I'll hit OK. And I'm just going to call this screenshot, and we're going to save that. And we can hit close there. And so this is a screenshot. So likewise, I could do the same thing I did before. I could open this up in LibreOffice and select it again. And there's an art to working data. And I have it selected, and then I'll hit insert chart. And we'll grab the data, and I'm just going to hit finish here. So we have the data this way. We're able to get it through the screenshot. So you kind of have two ways of either get all the data, or if I just wanted a small part of the data, I could have just select a small screenshot. So likewise, I would save this again as that ODS format is probably easier to work with, and it has the name screenshot, and hopefully, it's there it is. So it finally showed up. It took a little time to save. This is a slower computer. So anyway, we just wanted to show you the Astro-Med strip chart recorder. It's kind of virtual, doesn't use any real paper, but it does up to 18 channels. I didn't see too much of it on YouTube, so I thought I would make a video just to document it. And I like to just try to document the test equipment I have. So if I need to go back and use it again, I could look at the video and review it and know what I did. So bye now.